Before I start this lesson, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rukakodash, double honor to the apostle elders, great millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom to 144,000 men that's pushing and believing his word in all true sincerity and sacrifice their lives and wants to do so. Shalom to the men, women, and children that's tuning in and listening. And shalom to the Israelite foreign and scattered abroad on all four corners of the earth. The Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, his only begotten Son name is Yahweh Shai. And Lord, when this video is edifying, quick and straight to the point. This video right here will be entitled, Edomites Even Are Exhausted of Babylon. And I won't even say necessarily of Edomites, but, I'll change out the title. But long story short, this video, I got the inspiration to do this video. The Lord gave me the inspiration to do this video. I was watching YouTube lately, and watching this particular podcast and whatnot. And, it was having something to deal with a lot of these retired army soldiers. They come from service, and they start to find out in service that a lot of these things that these politicians and presidents, really the elites, having them go do, they're really over there committing, they're really being showed that these Edomites are real devils, man. It's being showed that what these elites want, the soldiers carry out. And a lot of the things that there's a lot of the things like propaganda is being showed. And, ultimately, you can't, it's even furthermore shows that Esau Edom, he's a fucking liar and manipulator, man. He's got to be taken out. So, but to the point of it is that I was watching this YouTube video. It was like a 5-hour long video. And it was this army soldier that came from them, that retired. And he said when they went over there, everybody know now that 9/11 was staged. It wasn't an actual terrorist thing. The U.S. made it all up. But they was told that they had weapons of mass destruction over there. And they went over there. It was nothing. It was literally petroleum. And he was over there. He was waiting. He was wondering, like, why were we told there was weapons of mass destruction over there? And they literally had a whole, what's the word I want to use? A whole factory of petroleum over there. It was just straight oil. And they went over there, and they was expecting bunker busters. And if you don't know what those is, look those up. But they was expecting heavy artillery. And you notice, I think that was in Saudi Arabia, it was either Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, or Iraq, one of those countries. But they went over there and found oil. And, the U.S. military was like, what the he was like, what the fuck? Why are we over there for? But he came to find out that they came over there, they was sent over there to secure that natural resources. And what that describes Habakkuk 2. So I'm gonna go there. I'm not gonna make this too long. Actually, I might have to make a part 2 because I'm kind of in the rush right now. So Salakia, if I don't get a lot of precepts, just go around. I'm gonna do a part 2 of this video. So let me get here first. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Right? Verse 5, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto himself all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And Esau Edom likes to go around, go to these other nations, take over, conquer, and destroy these nations, and then put his own people in that land and say, "Oh, we changed this land because it was just like they did over here." They called the so-called Native Americans what? They call them savages. They didn't have no modern technology or whatnot. They didn't have none of those things supposedly, but they were savages. Yet they knew how to live off of the land way before you got here. And on top of that, even though they learned how to live off the land, they taught you how to live off the land and what you killed them for that land. So that shows you that Esau Edom is a fucking liar and manipulator. He likes to go around gathering things from these other nations' resources. Which, okay, yeah, you need resources, but you can easily trade to get these resources. You can easily, like, hey, can we work out a deal so we could exchange resources? No. He likes to go over there, brute fucking force, with guns blazing, ask questions later. So what? Go get resources that he wants and needs. Because these elites like to have everything. And they're not in trouble as other men because they have everything. And that's in Psalms also. But back to the video, that video showed that what? Esau Edom, he showed them horns to these other nations. And they're sick of it. They're sick of seeing Esau Edom in power. They're sick of seeing so-called white man sitting up here taking what they have and possess. So, it was a few instances where he said, where a lot of these things that happens in war, a lot of men don't like to go to war, but what? The so-called politicians and all that, right? Whole time, he might know, he might not know. But the whole point of it is these elites want these people to what? To go to war so they could get their resources. So I'm gonna get Revelation chapter 2, Salakia, not 2:20. I don't know why I thought of 2. So this is Revelation chapter 20 and verse 3. Actually verse 2. And he laid and hold the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him up 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he shall deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years be fulfilled. After that, he must be loosened a little season. And yeah, that's Esau Edom. That 1,000-year period was where what Esau Edom was in the rulership, and he was being oppressed by Jake. That's why they call it the Dark Ages. But also, since Esau Edom didn't come into power until like the late 1300s, mid to late 1300s, that's when that lying spirit came back around about. And not just came back around about, but Esau Edom came into rulership. That's why you had the whole Renaissance, which is the rebirth of not just Christianity, but Esau Edom coming back into power and pattern himself after ancient Rome. So, but you see that lying spirit that goes out around about. It's that same spirit, and the Lord always shows that what Esau Edom likes to go around lying, stealing, and killing to the way he get his way to the top, and that's how he did it. He was blessed with the sword, so he uses the sword for all means, all fashions of control, and you see it. And a lot of these veterans, these soldiers that was in the military, Nick Irving or something like that? He's just one of the few that saw that Esau Edom is the so-called white man. He likes to go over to other nations, destroy, kill, murder, rob, all that, and take what they got over there. So, the long story short, to wrap it all up, he found out that it was nothing but oil over there. And they took out people over there, and they didn't even, and they come to find out, they took out people that was in control of the oil that they didn't want to trade oil with. And they all said, and he says in his videos, he do not trust their own government. And you have a lot of Edomites and a lot of really a lot of soldiers, but even the common people And Babylon the Great don't even trust their own government anymore. Because why? Their government is corrupt. So let me see. Let me get this real quick. Bear rule. Let me see. I can't think. So, like, you give me a second, Bubba Kasha. So, let me see. Wicked bear rule. Wicked king. Let me see. I think it's in Proverbs. Down. Let me see. Actually, you know what? I think that's Proverbs. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, this is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And yeah, a lot of not even just the government officials, the soldiers, all of that. Not even just them, the people too. The so-called common people of America, Babylon the Great, have been shown to not trust in their own government. It's shown on all levels, high levels and to the low levels. That the so-called justice system, which don't really establish justice, it really just make money off of not just Jakes, but everybody that goes to prison, everybody that does, they just make money off of you and press you more. But this is going to show that since we have a wicked ruler, the people are going to mourn. The people are not going to rejoice the fact that they got a wicked ruler. And you're seeing that, you're seeing that right now before our eyes. So, let me see. I grabbed his Nahum 3 real quick. Let me see, what time am I going working with? Yeah, I'm gonna close out after this. So, I'm gonna grab Nahum chapter 3. And I started at verse 1. Now, this is, during the time of Nahum, this is talking about the Assyrians. But now this is talking about what? The Babylonian, the revised Roman Empire, which is America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great. Woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. And yeah, this system, this America, Babylon the Great, this the so-called great nation is full of blood, robbery, lies, and murder. Ain't shit about this kingdom is righteous. On all levels, this kingdom is far from righteous. That's why the Lord's going to take it out, because the Lord set this up to show us for a disciplinary action, but also set this place up to show us what? You trusting in your enemies, y'all going to fall. Y'all going to see what it's like to trust in your enemies. And we're trusting our enemies, and it got us nothing but what? Slavery, debt, robbery, murder, and oppression. The biggest thing, oppression. So what? These people are finding out that what? America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, is a city of oppression, not depression too, but oppression also. But yeah, I don't want to make this video long. Lord, when this video is edifying, before I close out, I'd like to make all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ba'kakwadash. Lord, when this video is edifying, and us in natural Shalom.